Chapter 12, In the Department Store, 1933. Friedrich wore a new suit. Like a dancer, he pirouetted before me, showing off. Even my Sunday suit didn't look as fine as that. Where did you get it? I asked. Friedrich laughed, then took my hand and led me down the street. Where are you going? I asked and pulled my hand away. Come and see, he said. I'll show you something. You'll be amazed. Curious, I followed. We crossed the Ringstrasse, wound our way through a narrow alley, and came to the market square. Friedrich pressed forward, not giving me time to glance in the store windows. We left the square through the arcade and turned into Main Street. Grinning, Friedrich greeted the man outside the district building with, Kai Hitler. Standing at attention, the man returned the greeting. Then we entered the Herschel Mayer department store through the main entrance. A big man in a blue coat and blue cap, with a silver braid dangling from his shoulders, tore open the door and bowed low to us. The lights of the enormous chandelier on the main floor were multiplied many times over the mirrors around the walls. At our approach, the saleswomen stood up expectantly behind their tables. Friedrich would not let himself be distracted. Sure of his destination, he steered me toward the up escalator. In one bound, he leaped on and motioned me to follow. I placed my feet carefully. When I had secure footing on the moving steps, I climbed after him. But before I could catch up, Friedrich was already on the second escalator. He was waiting for me beneath the sign, third floor / toys. He took my hand and led me to a spot where I could overlook the whole department. Now, what do you see? He asked proudly. I peered around me. Everywhere there were tables laden with toys. Building blocks, rocking horses, drums, dolls, roller skates, and bicycles. In the midst of it all stood the saleswoman. A few customers wandered among the tables or were being waited on. A gentleman in a black frock coat and gray striped trousers strolled up and down. Here he instructed a saleswoman. There he put a toy back in its proper place. I don't know, I said. Come, I'll help you. Friedrich said, grabbing my shoulder. Past dolls' carriages, hoops, and metal boats, he pulled me along until we stood close behind a gentleman in the black frock coat. Something about the gentleman struck me as familiar. Suddenly, Friedrich coughed. The gentleman turned around. It was Herr Schneider. Herr Schneider laughed, seized Friedrich's elbows, and lifted him up. Then he said hello to me and asked, Well, whom do you like better, the post office official Schneider or the department head? Hesitantly, I said, You look so elegant. Herr Schneider laughed again. I, for one, like myself better this way. He rubbed his hands. Then he piloted us through the tables to a vast platform. The platform was one enormous train set. Rails led over mountains and through valleys. Several trains could run at the same time and stop one after the other at the toy station. Herr Schneider explained how it all worked, then let us play with the train. He stood and watched. Friedrich controlled the freight trains. I took over the express trains. We almost had a collision, but Herr Schneider prevented it. While I was attaching a car, he asked me out of the blue, How is the young folk? I looked at Friedrich. Friedrich told me everything. Herr Schneider explained. And I replied, I like it. We are going on a real trip soon. Maybe I'll be allowed to go. I am already saving money. It'll be great. We'll sleep in tents and cook our own food. I wish Friedrich could join us. Herr Schneider looked into the distance and focused on something. He nodded imperceptibly. In a near whisper, he said, A pity, but I guess it's better so. Silently, Friedrich and I played on. Herr Schneider walked up and down behind us. Suddenly, he asked another question. What does your father say about the young folk? I turned around. Father is glad I like it in the young folk. He makes sure I go on duty regularly and punctually, especially since he joined the party. Herr Schneider looked at me, frightened. So your father's in the party now? I nodded. Yes, he thinks it can only be good for us. Herr Schneider sighed. He turned away. After a while, he called, Fräulein Eekwerk, please come over here a moment. A young sales girl hurried over. These two young gentlemen, Herr Schneider told me, these two customers, Fräulein Eekwerk, would like to see our toy exhibition. Kindly show them everything that they would like to see and explain what needs explaining. And after the tour, each young man may choose a toy for 1 mark and carry it off. But 1 mark is the limit. Understood? I'll take care of the bill. Please, Fräulein Ewart, guide the gentleman." She nodded, smiling. Herr Schneider shook hands. "Auf Wiedersehen, boys, and have fun." Slowly, he walked away. At the fourth table, he turned and waved, but he was no longer smiling. Peterson.